while since I've blogged. There's a reason for that. I've got to get this flipping book done. So the priorities outweigh doing other things. And it even compromised my fishing, where I just hid away on a 90-acre Cam's pit which I run. So I'm going to recap as I'm driving just after the start of the season to Nottingham, so I'll try not to bore you too long. Right, I suppose in a way, right, yeah, with this book, the curse of the book was on, the curse of the book was off, and as you'll see, prior to this I had a couple of nice commons accumulating in my 40th 40, which become a recapture, but there you go. And there's a little story about that. You can't always pick them, but hey ho, at least it's a proper one. Now I've been doing a little bit on the Woolpack Lake 7, had a nice one in that, load of tuition work, trying to keep up with the writing as well. So the boys over on Lake 5-6 were struggling. A couple of stockies had come out, and I said, I'll give you a week, boys, and if one ain't out, a proper one, not a stocky, I'll come over there and show you how it's done. Anyway, cut a long story short, done the tuition, found the fish, moved on to them. Lucky this has got anti-like shake on it, or it should be like this, it'd be a bit scary. Anyway, moved on them. The curse of the book seemed to lift, because found some fish, got the rigs out, but I just had one of them gut feelings again, which I've sort of spoke to or told you about before, and that is it was just like, you should move a rod. Anyway, it was on a spot, I'd only ever caught one, but it was just, from watching him go through this gap, it just made me feel like I should get that rod in and position a rod on it. So anyway, out of 3 rods, I took the furthest away from where I'd seen him go round this corner as they went from Lake 5 into Lake 6. Anyway, fuzzed the chod out, of course. Krill, it was early for krill, but I'd had a few fish around the complex and at Waveney Valley Lakes, so I thought, keep it going. One thing I did do a little bit different was I got this stuff which I've named the gunk. It's very salty, and I made like a crumb mix out of it, and it was the first time I ever used it. So I got the rig in position. It was, luckily for me, I didn't have to use no spodding or anything like that. It was just walk round roughly where I cast that bait. I'm driving, trying to get through the traffic, and now the camera wants to jump around. It just about sums up like the UK roads now. Why do we pay our road tax for this? Well, crap, eh? Anyway, fuzzed the rod on it, went round, put a little bit of loveliness and about 20 or 30 baits, 12s and 15s. Thought, right, it's a lovely sunny day, which was rare for this spring, let alone we're now into June and nothing's really happening. Oh, but it's a sunny day today, we've got 17 degrees, so we should feel good for this. Anyway, fired the old laptop on, up, and bang, as soon as the mirror come up, that rod is away. Anyway, after a short tussle, I landed this 40-pound 8 common, replaced that rod, left the others like I normally do. Once I got location, unless I move a rod, the furthest rod left or right to where I'd seen a fish, I leave him in position for the duration of the session. So anyway, got that done, sat back, done a bit of writing, you know what I mean, wound the boys up that were like trying to catch him out of 5 and 6. Bit gutted that it was a recapture, but oh well. It's all good for working it, a 40-pounder, and it was a common. Anyway, it'd be Friday, so I got up really early. It's Fridays, it's time to go home. So I thought, right, I'm going to shoot. Before I shoot home, I'm going to try and do 1,000 words, which is easier said than done. Anyway, I've just got to put my foot down, right, yeah, because I can get in front of this Mongo here. And when he decides he's going to wake up and put his foot down. I'm sorry, mate. This is veto power. Right, and fired the old laptop up, and the curse of the book seemed to sort of like disappear again, because what I mean is I've got a bleep and then 234 words in I've got to take. Anyway, that turned out to be a 39.8 comment, so sweet as a pea. Right, yeah, I'm a bit lost. Waters, whatever. I've got a few things on the burner and all the rest of it, right, yeah, but it's hard to tell people, right, yeah, look, it seems as you get older in life, and dare I say, older and wiser, right, yeah, that you just don't want these poxy circuit waters, all the bitching, backbiting, clicks, twats, wankers, bollocks spread around you and all the rest of it. So I thought, right, I'm going to go to my lake. Yeah, okay, it's had a flood, right, yeah, and at the end of the day, right, who knows what's in there, but it only flooded for 10 hours and it only went in one area of about 25, 30, say 30 yards, a foot over max, and people walked it all night. Yes, we did find a couple of fish in the dike, and plus we gained some. Yeah, not one, some. What else have we caught, or what else have we got in there? But anyway, there you go. That flood, what was it, ferry linear thing coming, right, yeah? Now, boys, what you got to remember is when you have a go at Uncle Jim, right, yeah, and you're going to have a go at my job, which is my livelihood, right, yeah, not my hobby, right, yeah, or a pastime, you got to remember, right, yeah, before you go slagging anyone off, right, yeah, that what did I do? Did I catch it? Did I net it? Did I harpoon it? Did I catch it on the long line? Did I catch it from Ferry Lagoon? Did I catch it from Fen? Did I catch it from a dike, or did I catch it off a bloody road? Anyway, either way, right, yeah, I caught like a proper import. It swam into my lake on a, what was it, an act of God. So, oh dear, hold on, I've got to stop here now. So it's not my fault, but look, many years ago, there was floods worse than what they were now, right, or what we've just had. And we've had floods in the winter, but why are they going to go then? No, they ain't going to go. November onwards, why? So it's not going to be till the water temperatures come back up in the spring. So anyway, about 12, 14, say 14 years ago, there was the great floods, let's call it, right, yeah, which, you know, the Woolpack upstream lost many, probably 50 to 60% of their carp. Now, a lot of these carp were probably lost, but some made their way around the lakes, like, let's just say, Swavesey, Scout Pit, Cub Pit, Ferry Lagoon, Fen Drayton, any bloomin' where, right? Nature reserves, right? Now, some have died, some have lived, some are bred, which is sweet. Now, when I caught this fish, and it was witnessed with someone who I'm not going to actually name, but it's a very well respected, hold on a minute, I've got to overtake this Mongol. Sorted. Right, now I've got a clear road, I'm flying. Who's going to stay nameless, or remain nameless? This fish got in, right, yeah, and it's like, as soon as I caught it, alright, it was a linear, I didn't know what one it was. All I was worried about in my head was like, what had happened to it? And it was like, over many years I've stitched fish, cut bits off of them, what are rotten and all that, you know, I've looked after carp, I sort of know what I'm doing. Uncle Jim is a doctor, a saver of carp, if you want to look at it like that. And soon as my mind swung to the, oh well, I've caught this, but look at how am I going to save this, right? And it was 50 odd pounds. Anyway, that's another story. So I sorted that out, but as soon as it happened, I put it on an invite only, backstabbing private forum that used to be Fem members, used to slag off like Ferry Lagoon and the bailiff and that, right, yeah, and now they're sucking his arse. So, you know, at the end of the day, what's that all about? But no, they're not now, are they? They're having a go at him now. But they want that fish back. Now, what you should have remembered, boys, right, yeah, is an act of God put it in there. And many years ago, that was someone else's fish. Really? And you still got one if you're very lucky, called, what did you name it all how many years ago? The Pac-Man, the Wall Pack, from the Wall Pack, the Pac-Man. So at the end of the day, you've even named one of them, right? They both left the lake round about upper 20s, right? Yes, I've got one in my lake which goes 47 pounds, come from Lake 8, called Single Scale. Anyway, there you go. So these are the sort of things you're putting up with, but at the end of the story, you've got to look at it like this, right? If you're going to pop at someone, right, yeah, you've got to think long and hard, right, about things like this. And I've kept this to myself for quite a long time. You have a go at someone, you pop around, right, yeah, you want it back. You want it back, do you? Well, if we lost carp, would you give it back? I don't think so. But let's say I had a nicer side, a nicer side to me, and I decided, yeah, I'll put it back, right? Problem is, I've got there, right, yeah, I need a section 30, because if not, I could be done for moving fish. So at the end of the day, right, yeah, I've been accused of that. I nicked it. Did I? It's bizarre, you know what I mean? Every time I catch something, it's like something the matter. So, with you having a go at me, right, you've got to look at it like this. Why the hell am I going to help you? You didn't even help the fish that were like getting out of the lake. You're all sat at home watching like Coronation Street, twiddling your thumbs, playing with yourself. Yeah. You didn't go down there and cover the bloody pipes up and walk. Remember, I was there 2 days before the weekend and 2 days after the weekend. But I had a 30, a 40 and a 50, and of course I must have moved them. Or it, whatever you're saying, that's what you say. So at the end of the day, right, an act of God put it in there. I cared for it. None of you lot give a shit about it. You're only worried about because you lost it, but you didn't get off your flipping arse, right, yeah, to make sure that they weren't getting out. So at the end of the day, right, yeah, did I move it? Did I save it? Or did I catch it? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. But at the end of the day, I'm used to all of that bollocks. So I would have liked to have caught it in the lake, but an act of God put it in there. Am I the act of God? You've got to ask yourself. Anyway, right, yeah, that's the controversial bit over, or a part of it. And I've still got, I'm only at Waveney Valley Lakes, and I've got to go to Nottingham, which is still 170 mile, 170 mile. So this should be quite an entertaining bit of filming. Now, other things that have happened, I decided, right, to fish that lake purely to get on. It would help me with the most, no, not the most important, but, well, in some eyes it is the most important, right, yeah, chapter, the mere. Now, why I'm saying that is because it would give me, like, feelings, a sense of, like, being at the same lake, because it's not similar, but it's, like, hardcore, blah, 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 blah. So I'd get a lot of feedback, emotions, and things would come flooding back, and plus I'd keep away from all the crap, because things are coming close, deadlines are coming up, and probably, like, some of the knockers out there think I ain't going to be able to put this book together myself. Well, at the end of the day, right, yeah, you're sure going to be surprised, because I ain't going, the only time I'm going to a printer is for it to be printed. So I landed on there and stuck with it. I wanted to almost unlock what was left in there, what was in there, are they all in there? Because yeah, fish were still caught to £45 common after the floods. Oh dear, no one knows about that common, the humpyback common. Yeah, and it was caught by a bream and tench angler, so happy days. Nemo was caught. Oh, there was a few others anyway, but not a lot of people fished it, and by August, no, July, basically no one really fished it. So they got on with it. If that ferry linear is still alive, I said over a year ago now, right, yeah, he'll be healed and he'll be all puckered a bird. So happy days. And when it comes out, yeah, this is my conscience, as it's been said, right, yeah. I will laugh my head off, right, yeah, knowing the fact that I helped such a great old fish get over such a horrible thing by being ripped apart in Ferry Lagoon by an otter, because the damage on it was that old, the bones you could break in your hand. And I was at Cassine and it was only a week. There's no way that them wounds, right, yeah, what had done to that fish, right, yeah, was done in that week, because it'd still be alive. That's how much I'm into all of this sort of stuff. So maybe it was for its own good. I don't know, but let's look at it like this. It could have gone that way, ended up where? Could have gone that way and ended up where? And it's no different to you in life. But, you know, you could end up anywhere. You drive like me on the road now. I could turn left and it could save my life. I could turn right and it's like, oh dear, what's happened? That's the game. It's like a game of Russian roulette. And things are done for a reason. So, at the end of the day, I was in the right place at the right time and sorted that fish out. Anyway, getting back to Fen. Now, it's normally June clear, and by mid-April, it's kicking off. What I mean, fish are coming out. But with the prolonged winter we've had, and no viz, why I'm worried about viz, it's like there's no light penetration. Water levels are back up to basically, you know, it's not over depth, but it's back up to how it should be, because it was like about 3.5 foot down. So you can imagine over 92 acres of water, 3.5 foot of water is a hell of a lot of water. So this water come in, which later it must have had a pollutant in it, some sort of weed killers or whatever, pesticides, whatever. The Norfolk reeds all disfigured. They weren't straight, they corkscrewed like a spiral. So that weren't good either. The bottom went where you sharpen your hooks, because I did have like a few mates like Matisse and all that fishing it, and even though you've put like nose oil on it or candle wax, these like went black, so that means the bottom was very acidic, which is not good. So, you know, fish are still going to live, there's fly hatches and all that, right, yeah, they just like fish like that live on natural food a lot of the time, proper carp that know how to live in the real world, they would just revert to taking fly hatches and taking things off of wherever, like reed stems and whatever it is. So at the end of the day, Fen got a massive shock. So I carried on. There's no viz. Odd things were sin. The weather picked up, but you know, I mean, I'm not going to go through every blooming week or whatever, but there was one period it was nice. Things started to be seen cruising. Three big uns were seen together by Simon Maris, and I'm sure he knows exactly what he's looking at, right? Yeah, because I've known Simon for a long time. Anyway, these were all like fish in excess of 45 pounds, a common and 2 mirrors. And then all of a sudden it goes cold again, but it goes cold and it's more northerlies, easterlies, and it was 3 weeks. I mean, I could do 4 or 5 night session, right, because I'm on a break, and see absolutely nothing. You know, it was a result to see a tench, but you were seeing loads of tench and bream before. It was almost like they're trying to wake up and then it just goes back because the water's so flipping cold. So all of a sudden, it was about 2 weeks ago, the weather slightly picked up, but more importantly, we could then start to see into the lake about 3 or 4 foot, which meant like the algae was starting to, this algae bloom had started to die. So with the weather slightly picking up, but we kept northerlies and that, we was getting 18, 20 degrees. I mean, I even burnt my head, so the fish started to get around them all. And then within 5 days of this new weather, even though it was like cold easterly northerly winds, all of a sudden within 5 days we had 14 foot viz. Now this is a good thing because now they've got light penetration, so even at 7 foot, 8 foot, they can feel the heat on their backs. So at the end of the day, right, we all thought it was going to pick up, but this was like heading into the last week of May, start of June. Yes, we've had a fish out now, a 28 pounder. So I've had a couple of 25s, but I haven't videoed them. I've just been more wrapped up in getting this book written. And plus me and Jane now have laid out 6 chapters. So basically there's only 4 more to lay out now for the graphic designer. And then it's like, that's sorted. We're off to the printers next Friday. Get some quotes. Got 2 printers lined up local to us. So yeah, because I'm financing it myself. So that's a big step forward. Anyway, the visibility in Fen now has gone way over now. It's, oh, I don't know, 16 odd foot at least. And it's not putting your head under with a bucket. It's standing on the boat with your glasses. So it's amazing really to see all that. And I think this has knocked the carp a little bit because they haven't been able to see for like probably a year properly, you know what I mean? Unless there was visibility down there, but you know, there's no sunlight or anything like that, is what I'm trying to say. So that's probably shocked them because they seem to have disappeared. As soon as the sun come out, Steve saw a big un and a real big un and another like upper 30 following it, all played up. So, but that was like straight away. And I'd got home by 10 o'clock that Friday and it weren't even proper sunlight. And bloody people driving is mental. I hate sun, mind you. I hate getting out of Norfolk and Suffolk. It's a flipping joke. That's another thing. People don't seem to realise what going to lakes is for me. I live in Outer Mongolia, Lowestoft, the most easterly point in the country, and my nearest exit to a motorway is like, let's call it 50 mile, a long way. Anyway, getting back to Steve, we found these fish and they all start to pop up on the top. So like I was chomping at the bit because it was 20 odd degrees, and we went out watching the speedboats down Alton Broad and got hammered to hell and had a great time. Anyway, back, weather changed. Not bad, but I was expecting like 20 degrees, but that was forecast for later on in the week. So I got back Sunday, fish since Sunday evening, because they seem to have gone into this showing at night stuff now, which is well different for them. To hear one, catch one at night is mental. And one of the captures has been at night. So all said and good, it's been like a real testing time. Now, I didn't have a lot of other waters. I mean, Ellis, I had Ellis, a couple of other places. I looked at Chertsey a couple of times. I just couldn't be arsed with that, right, yeah. Let alone, didn't look like I was going to get a ticket to start the new season. I don't know what the hell's the matter with Simax, but there you go. The boss changes his mind like the wind, so unlike my good friend Ian Welsh, but there you go. That's all another story. That'll be all highlighted in book 3 anyway. So Ellis, you could do a night, and in a certain area you could see, like, I ain't joking, 100 shows in 3 hours, and there's only 60 carp in there. So you can imagine how many carp are in there congregated in that area, but no bites. But what I found by talking to some close mates of mine, like a lot of big pits around are just not fishing. You know, like Ellis has normally done, 40, 50 fish, say. It's only done 12 now. Fen's normally done 20, 30. It's only done 1. And no, they're not all down the river like people say, because certain fish have been caught and certain shows have been seen. And of course these certain people that know that these fish are there and seen things, right, yeah, and put things into perspective and get their tickets. But we just don't know what else we've gained, so I dug my heels in for a long time, hardcore carp fishing, and I can only put it in, I give it that much hardcore where I should have like maybe done at a better time, stayed there and then done 2 days and shot somewhere else for 2 days. I wanted to go to Charnwood where I had them lovely scalies and that black one and that in the winter and last year, and I want that, like that one called Scaly, which I'm now on the way to, 190 mile, but it was closed till June the 16th, so I've decided to pull off my lake at the moment, regroup, whatever you want to call it, and go and enjoy something else and then go back a bit later. So I'm going to go and try my luck Nottingham in Leicestershire, right, yeah, or Loughborough it's called, with some real sound geezers, no grief, no bullshit, it's just a long drive, and I've gone from 60 mile an hour now to 48 because I'm now like a sheep shagger, following the train of all the front one that only wants to go certain speed. But within about 3 miles I've got a nice long straight of about 5 miles, so this Vito will have it'll be glowing red if the police put their camera on it. I'm savage when I want to go fishing. To get there, what I mean is I'm a loony. That's why I like to go in the early hours. It's just clear roads, none of all this bullshit people driving like, I don't even know why they drive at 48 mile an hour in a 60. It's just, do they ever want to get anywhere in their life? Obviously they don't, because you're not going 80 mile an hour or anything like that. And on the way home, I don't sort of, it doesn't pee me off because I'm going home, you know, it's just, but when I want to get there, you know, it's like the buzz, you've been home, seen the family, done all the things which some people think I've got nothing else in my life. I find that bizarre. If only you knew, so there you go. This brings us up to, oh god, it was my birthday this week, just at the beginning of the week, inching ever closer to 50 years old, but still on it. So at this rate I'm not going to stop, and I just want to get to Charnwood, and I'm not even on a motorway yet. Where am I now? The other side of Diss, so I've still got about 20 miles to a motorway, so it's just like a nightmare.